right, quick update on the markets. I think I'm going to focus on FTSE because I'm seeing something quite interesting here. I'm seeing, actually, let me start from the daily and then I'll zero in. We've had this push up, and in fact, actually, on this time frame, interesting. I was about to say we've had push up and then a secondary push up, but now that I think about it, there's a case to be made that all of this is still one push up. For now, I'm going to go with push up and push up, right? And I want to look at this secondary push up on the lower time frame, on the 4 hourly. Okay, so on this time frame, it's clear that, okay, we've had this push up and this is a secondary push up. Okay, so it's clearer on this time frame. And what I am seeing here as something that's interesting is that this secondary push up, I think enough time has gone by. Enough time has gone by where I can say this secondary push up has ended here. I'm going to call it as a move that's ended right there. And if that is the case, what I'm seeing here is signs that we're going to have a pullback. And a pullback of this secondary push up, which ended right there. So what I'd like to see in this coming week, I had a quick look at news events. So we have NFP on Friday for the US, which of course affects all markets. There's nothing specifically going to affect the UK this coming week. But I'll be curious to see how prices react this week as buyers continue to push up. So what I'm seeing here is we have continual higher lows. And remember, we're considering this area as, okay, that is a line that's important, because expecting the pullback, I'm not convinced that buyers will cross this line and stay with this line crossed. I think we're going to have a pullback that comes down to at least here before we have another push up, and that other push up will be the third one, considering this as the second one. So I'm expecting a pullback because this secondary leg has ended. And in terms of levels, this right here is an obvious level. I wouldn't say this is the pullback and we've had attempts to make a third leg. I wouldn't say that at all. I'd say we've had the secondary leg push up, and we see signs that when we have a pullback, I want to see how the pullback affects here. Ultimately, this pullback to this second leg can come all the way down here before the third leg happens. But I think conservatively, it's going to be around the 7,400 level, and then we'll have another push up. And I am anticipating that push up will be strong. So we've had strong, weak. I think we're going to have a pullback to run about here, and then we're going to have a third leg to this second leg to this first leg, and this third leg is going to be what attempts to go all the way up to here, other markets have reached and passed there. This one is struggling, which is an opportunity to jump in on the buy when it happens. Before that buy happens, we're going to have a pullback to the secondary leg, and there's an opportunity to jump in on the pullback, which will be the sell. So if we're looking at the sell, so I think we're going to have a sell this week. I think it's going to be pretty imminent, because I'm seeing buyers are going to continue to struggle and reach this area, potentially spiking up past it before we have a drop. So if we're looking at levels, I think there's an opportunity to jump on, to grab at least 50 points, 50 pips, as Forex folks will say, right? But you don't want to grab it here. You want to grab it more, I'd say, between here and here. I know this is quite a big range, quite a wide gap, 50 points gap. But if you time it nicely, you should be able to grab it somewhere up here-ish, right? And then have stops just above in case you're wrong, in case this just flies up. But I doubt that will happen. Now, if you were to grab it from, let's say, up here, what this will give you is a nice cushion of between here, or up there, and down here, just in case it doesn't work out. I think when the sells come in, it's going to come in to down here. So realistically, you have the best part of 100 pips, actually, maybe even more. I think you have at least 50, so grabbing it from here to here. This plan will be in case prices go up and then come crashing down. You can quickly jump in on it, knowing that the sellers are indeed here and they're making their way all the way down to here, right? So you can jump in on this, but ideally you want to grab it, as I said, somewhere between here and here. Now, what I am anticipating, and I'm looking at this as a very interesting area, this right here, right? We have a range. What I would like to see is buyers push up past this range and settle down. When I say settle down, as in you'll be able to fade the buyers between the 7500 and 7550 level. That way you can grab it between this level, depending on how the buyers perform and how the sellers come in. I think there's a strong chance that will indeed have buyers push up past this level. I think possibly we'll continue to have higher lows, right? So potentially something like this, where prices continue to go, we continue to have higher lows, and then a push up past this range to get buyers involved, which will be perfect to get sellers involved. So let me go down to a lower time frame. It's not quite ready yet for the sells. I think we still need to see sellers come in and buyers fade out. Right now, I'm seeing that, okay, buyers are still strong, and this level is the last area where they are strong, which is why I say, okay, when prices come down, you have between here and here, right? Because this level is the last stronghold. Prior to this, you have this guy who made all of that, right? He's now up here. They're now up here, the guys, aiming to push up. And I think, let me go down to a lower time frame. When we fade these buyers, when they fade, with prices continuing to come higher, we'll have another S&R level here. So we wouldn't be looking to jump in down here. It will be up here. When this S&R is broken by the sellers, as we see them coming down with strength, you want to jump in as high as possible. This is where being confident will come into place. It's not quite ready yet. Not quite. We have buyers. We want to see what sellers do, and we want to see how buyers react again. So the higher they come, the better. And anticipating they'll break this level, we can then fade them at a higher level, which will give us enough room to make a judgment that they have faded, the buyers have faded, and see signs that the sellers are here, which will give us enough confidence to say, okay, buyers are faded, sellers are here, they're coming down, and they're going all the way down to the 7,400 level. So we can jump in on it right about there and ride all of that. We can ride all of that and also get out in time. Now, there's a chance that this comes all the way down past the 7,400 level, but I think it's best to be conservative, because remember, we're looking into the pullback of this secondary leg and anticipating another leg up, right? So even if prices come lower than here, it doesn't matter, because really it's an opportunity to jump in on the buy when it does happen, let's say past this level, in order to ride it all the way up. But first, there's an opportunity to jump on this sell and get at least 50 points, if not a bit more, if not 100. I think there's a really good chance to get 100 points from this, because this range, I think, will be broken on the upper side, and we can fade the buyers at this level, right, when prices does its thing there, and watch how the sellers come in. So when we jump in on the sell, we would jump in as high up here as possible, as opposed to down here, right? We'll jump in up here and ride this all the way down to here. Exit here at the 7,400 level. And stay on the sidelines as prices settle down and we gear up for the buy, which will be the third leg to this secondary leg, which ended right here. So this is what I'm seeing on FTSE, and why I'm quite interested in it this coming week, because I think this sell is going to happen this week. It might very well coincide with the news announcements for other markets. I think Germany has a few, but the big one will be NFP. NFP this coming Friday. Let's quickly have a look, because I think, incidentally, this will coincide with other markets which are gearing up for a turn, a pullback. You can't quite see it on the higher time frames, but on the hourly, especially Germany, we're seeing signs that, okay, I'm seeing areas, levels where prices, where sellers want to head down to. So this right here, all of this is one big push up. But if we're looking at the details of it, so we had prices come all the way up to here, and from this point on started to struggle, and then this SNR was broken by these guys, and we've seen sellers try to take prices back down to this SNR, and I think this week we're going to see them achieve it. We're going to see them make this move down, at least to this SNR, if not lower, right? Possibly to this guy who started all of this push up but struggled. So we have prices come down to at least here, and it will be the first sign that yes, buyers are taking their foot off the gas, and sellers are indeed gearing up. I think this could coincide very nicely with what we'll see in FTSE this week. But FTSE is my favorite, because this right here is a very good sign. This secondary leg up, and then the time, let me go forward a bit, the amount of time that has gone by in order to spot that this secondary leg has ended here, and we're just about gearing up for a turn, a pullback, before the buyers go up even more. Where are the buyers? Ultimately, down here, with this guy who started this secondary leg up. But I think this SNR could hold with this guy. Now, whether it's this guy or this guy, same difference, right? You have an area, doesn't particularly matter, as long as you jump out at the 7,400 level with the pullback that happens, and then you can stay on the sidelines and gear up for the third leg to this secondary leg, in anticipation that when it happens, it's going to break this area. Most likely come up with more strength than these secondary guys here. And that in itself will be a very nice push up, because you'll have, not to get ahead of myself, but from here all the way up to here. So the best part of 600 points going into the new year. First things first, keep an eye on these buyers, fade them, especially when they go past here, and start watching out for the sellers to come in and jump in with the sellers as high up as possible and ride it all the way down to here. That's the game plan going in, and I'm going to be very carefully looking at how buyers perform compared to sellers, especially when prices go past the 7,500 level. So that's my plan for this. This market looks very good to me, and if things play out the way I am anticipating them, I'll have a video during the week just to see how things are shaping out. But for now, I'll leave it there for now. All right, bye for now.